Tools like Cloud Code or Codex allow anyone to turn an idea into a website with a single prompt. But having code that works is not the same as having code that is secure. In fact, according to Veracode, 45% of AI-generated code contains security flaws. After 2 decades in software, I've collected 7 ways to make your app more secure. At the end of this video, I'll show you an easy way to find these security issues in your own app. So let's dive into it. The first way is to secure your API keys and secrets. If you're not familiar with API keys, these are short text or strings that allow you to connect to external tools like Stripe, OpenAI, or any other provider. But every time you want to use a key, you need to ask yourself, is this key public or secret? For example, if you want to use Stripe, you will have 2 keys. You have public key, which usually starts with PK, public key, and you have a secret key, which start with SK. The public key can be exposed in your code, but the secret key should not be exposed anywhere in your front-end side. But why it is so important? If you expose your secret key, someone can take advantage of it and use it on your behalf, and your bills can jump exponentially. Not to mention that using your secret key can expose your data or your client's data. But in this video, we try to be as practical as possible, so let's see the best practices. First, set expiration time for your keys. Second, set usage limits if it's possible, especially if you are using AI providers like OpenAI or Anthropic. Usually when you get closer to these limits, you will be informed by email or SMS. But what happens when you need to store a secret key? You should use environment variables that will be saved only on your production environment. In addition to that, make sure your projects on GitHub are not public to everyone and you are not sharing your code. And the last one is to make sure your sensitive files are not committed to your project. You can use the git ignore file. When you mention a file in git ignore, this file will not be committed to the project. Make sure you're doing something similar in your configuration or deployment files. But the next tip will take your security to the next level. By the way, if you're new here, we help non-technical people become AI builders. So sub and like, it really helps us provide more value for you. The second way is to move sensitive logic to the backend. When we talk about applications or websites, we have 2 domains. We have the front-end sides, which is the code that lives in the user device, for example, this website, and we have the backend side, which is the logic and the code that executes behind the scenes. It's important to know that the front-end side is exposed to the user. With some simple tricks, he can manipulate this code and understand what's going on. That's why we should take our sensitive logic to the backend. For example, payments, emails, or AI calls that are very expensive should live only on the backend side. The next one is not implemented correctly by most of the builders. Authentication and authorization. But first, let's explain what is authentication and authorization. These 2 terms are kinda confusing. Authentication is just proving who you are when you log in into a website with your Gmail account. Authorization, on the other hand, is what you are allowed to do, see, and edit on this website, or application, of course. And this is the part most of the developers getting wrong. Being logged in doesn't give you permission to do anything you want in the system. For example, when we talk about application for invoices, when someone is logged in, it doesn't mean it has permissions to see others' invoices or to edit them. So our purpose is to make sure the user has the permission to do this action. And we need to live with the assumption that the user wants to hurt our application. One of the best ways to implement authorization is RLS, which stands for Row Level Security. The bottom line of this way is to keep in our mind that every action we allow the user to do or see, we need to keep authentication and authorization. We need to think who can see this entity, who can edit it, and to add these restrictions to every operation. Way number 4 is so simple yet so powerful. Input validation. Input validation is just checking what the user sends before we do anything with this information. We need to make sure we get the right and expected input from our users and nothing extra smuggled in. So after we understand the concept of authentication and authorization and input validation, we are ready for our next way, which is to track strange behaviors. But first, I want to explain why it is so useful and what are these strange behaviors. When an attacker wants to damage our application, he starts to play with the input validation, with authentication and authorization. These tests can leave clues in our system if we log them to the right place. That's why if you track all these failed requests and these strange behaviors, you can start to understand what an attacker wants to do in your system. You can take it even further and set alarms to track these unexpected behaviors. Most of the attacks on SaaS products had these clues, and if the builder was paying attention to them, he could do something about this attack. The next way is my favorite, which is update dependencies. But what are dependencies? Dependencies are ready-made pieces of other people's code. When you work on a small application or website, you have hundreds of dependencies that gives you new capabilities to your application. But if you use dependencies, you are also exposed to their vulnerabilities and security issues. That's why we need to make sure that we don't have any outdated packages and we're always up to date. When a new security issue or vulnerability is exposed, the contributors of these dependencies release new updates. In addition to that, when your AI coding agent suggests any dependency, you need to make sure you really need to use it. Challenge your Claude Code or Codex and make sure you understand why you need this dependency. And the last tip before I share a skill you can run and diagnose your app is to run security checks often. It's critical to mention that in every application you know and use, there are issues and security vulnerabilities. So we cannot avoid this situation. When we add new code, new vulnerabilities will be added as well. But we want to reduce the amount of these issues and the severity of them. That's why we need to be always security aware. We should run security tests every week. By security test, I mean taking the smartest model that you can use and telling him to search for security issues. If you want me to create a dedicated video on this specific topic, just write in the comments. You should take the new code you want to merge to your application and challenge it with others' models. For example, if you work with Claude Code, you should take the new code and test it with Codex. There are multiple skills for security, and you should always do this test before you release a new version to your production, especially if you have customers. I highly recommend to do manual checks as well. As promised, I took all the ways we mentioned in this video and created a skill. This skill will scan your project and try to find the issues that we mentioned. In order to execute it, just add this skill to your project. After that, just execute the secure scan command. I'll put a link in the description. That's it for this video. If you learned something new, please hit the like button and tell us in the comments what you want us to cover in the next videos. Bye bye.